And so I suppose my first question is, I want to ask about the title. Does Dobaaraa mean twice or 12 or both?
And Dobaaraa is a play on time, 212. It means 212 and also again. It means second time.
And why did you pick 212?
I think it's the writer Nihit Bhave. He came up with the title because we were struggling what to call the film. And I think that was kind of ingenious. He came up with it and then we stuck to it.
Well, so now we're in this world of ambiguity. And I mean, I think that Dobaaraa is an interesting title because, as many of you probably recognised it, that this was based, you bought the script from the Spanish film Mirage. Yeah. And could you tell us a little bit what it's like? I mean, you were a script writer yourself, you're a dialogue writer. And what's it like when you take something that the script is almost already made for you?
Yeah, it's the first time I've done a remake. And I think luckily at the time when we came across the script in the film was not out yet. And Taapsee had reached out to me because she was looking for a director. She was obsessed with this. and I was trying to find her directors. And we just couldn't. And one day she was like, can you please just find me somebody? She said, okay, let me watch it and read it. So I went through it and I was 3 drinks down.
It was morning then.
Yeah, and I was waiting at the airport for my flight and I said, I'll do it.
And Taapsee, was that did it turn out how you'd envisaged it, or did it turn into something quite different?
No, it just got better than what I expected it to be like. Because when I read it, when Sunir had sent me the script, it took me probably the longest. And at that time, the film was not out, the Spanish film. So I had to also read it. And it was a very hard read because it was tough to visualize the time travel going back and forth. It was a very tough screenplay to read. It took me longer than usual scripts. And I was like, I don't know who will be able to pull off something so crazy, one of its kind, on Indian screen. And like most of my other films where I get the script and the director is not there, he's the first person I call to ask who can direct this, because he knows more than half. I feel like most of these guys who are upcoming now, I've worked with him in some of the other capacities. So I always pick up the phone on him and ask him who can direct this. So I did that. And I was lucky enough that he was drunk or whatever. Whatever might be the reason that he agreed. Because I knew that he won't do it. It's a remake, so I didn't even think that he'll say yes. So I just got lucky and I told Sunir, this is jackpot. Let's just jump on it before he changes his mind. And thankfully we both, thankfully he stuck to it, and it became better than what I expected, because I never thought it could be Indianized to this extent. I always knew this is going to be one of its kind, really difficult for our Indian audience to fathom, because they're not used to watching this kind of genre or this kind of back and forth happening. It's going to be difficult. So yeah, but he's made it very, very simple. So I mean, I'm more than happy with the way it's turned out.
Before I come on to you, Pavail, I mean, one of the things that I think is very interesting is this question of parallel universes. And I was talking to Eleanor Halsall here in the audience, and we were talking about how much we've seen them in Korean cinema, for instance, and the way that, if you go back in time, you can take different decisions. And in a way that perhaps it's a kind of wish fulfillment, or perhaps it's also, we always laugh and say you only live once, but not if you're a Hindu, because you're going to get another crack at it. And if you feel, do you feel that in some way that you're getting, that this is something that's really speaking out to people these days? Why do you think these parallel universes are? I'm actually going to start with Pavail, because you decided to be in it. It must have appealed to you.
Well, what really appealed to me, honestly, was Anurag Kashyap, because I wanted to work with him for the longest time. And he's been a mentor to me since, many, many years. But yeah, I'm a sci-fi geek in terms of watching movies. And the part that I played was really, really, I've never done something like this before. And I like watching time travel films and parallel universes. And so because it was happening for the first time, again, like Taapsee said, we were kind of worried if, people are going to understand it or how they're going to catch it. But the way he did it and the way the script came out, it was a very, very easy read. And for me, it was an easy read. And I absolutely loved it. So that's, yep.
So what was it like working together? I mean, you've both mentioned Anurag as a sort of mentor, as a sort of senior figure. I mean, you're both established, you're well-known actors. But what was it like working together, the dynamics of this on the... Anurag always seems to be chaotic. He's had a few drinks, he's done this. But somehow, Anurag, the films get made. So what's going on here?
I'm not chaotic. She's the bully on the set.
What nonsense. I agree with that.
She's the bully on the set.
Up against me now.
She's the bully on the set. She's a tough one. And he's actually pretty simple. Yeah. My heart goes out for him every time he's around Taapsee. And nothing, it was great fun we had a tough time trying to find a location. Yeah. We had a tough time trying to find 3 houses next to each other. It took us 2 years to...
Yeah, what were those slightly derelict houses next door?
Yeah,
what were they? Was it? I kept thinking, like, are we going to have a haunted house?
No, we had a tough time because we shot in a place where people were living. So it was, and we were shooting with rain machines and nights, and I think they were very nice and cooperative. They were difficult for the first 2 nights, and then they let us be. So it was very difficult to shoot, to find a location.
And it was in Pune, you actually shot it?
It was in Hinjawadi. And we shot it there. And the idea was like, see, when you do a film like this and introduce the Indian audience to it, it's very hard to try and simplify it so they understand. So we did as much as we could and then blamed the rest of it on Nolan. So.
But it was also, I mean, you say it was sort of Indianized, and yet it was an India that didn't exist perhaps 20 years ago. This was a very new vision of India, I thought you were putting across.
No, when you say Indianized, in the sense to simplify the film, because we are still waking up to...
It's like we are introducing a palette of a kind that the audience is not used to watching as much in regular Hindi films. So when you introduce it, you want to slowly get them used to it, right? So that's how.
If Shekhar Kapoor would have succeeded making his time machine, it would have been easier for him.
I think that's quite fascinating. And just while we're thinking about cinema, do you know what you were doing 10 years ago tonight, Anurag?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Wasipur.
Yeah, we were in London watching Gangs of Wasipur for the first time. It was exactly... Exactly. You see, so, I mean, it's not just parallel time, but circular time we've got going here. That every 10 years, on the 23rd of June, Anurag is going to show a film in London, and we're going to keep coming together. And I mean, Wasipur itself, that was something that was a complete shock to people when they saw it. I actually went to see it with Yash Chopra's wife, Pam Chopra, and I were sitting together, and at one point she said, that's our film that they're playing. And the language was quite ripe, as I remember. It was really something wonderful. And again, the casting and the experience of shooting the movie, but then you were you were shooting it in the Badlands of, Wasipur kept changing state, didn't it? But really, perhaps that's had an impact. I'm thinking of things like Mirzapur and so on, which perhaps have taken off from what you created in Wasipur. I mean, I wonder if this film will also create a new kind of look for film.
I have no clue. In this, I don't want to think of Wasipur because it's been my biggest undoing. There's a lot of small town cinema, small town underworld crime films that have come out since then, and series. And some of them are really very good, and it's not like that it wasn't there before. There was a Omkara, there were other films that were done before, but Bandit Queen. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know, Wasipur is like a bane for me. Everybody wants me to keep doing the same thing.
I know
But
we don't
I hope
want Wasipur
Dobaaraa does
3.
something else. I hope people stop expecting a Wasipur from me and they start asking for something more.
Now, your producer's here, though he's not coming on stage. I mean, you've also produced films, Anurag. Could you tell us a bit about the different experiences you've had as a director and a producer? I mean, maybe some of you will have seen the other films Anurag's produced, co-produced, Lunchbox, Queen, NH10, Masan. I mean, really important films defining the new indie cinema that's been emerging in the last decades. You like producing, you like directing?
I am more of a creative producer. I kind of put things together and lend my name to things. And I would bring actors together and talent together. I'm not very good on a day-to-day production thing. I'm not really good with money. I know how to work backwards. I know like how to work backwards in a kind of a certain budget. So I've now kind of stopped doing that because producing started consuming a lot of my time. So I'm very happy directing for other people.
And how did you find that working with Anurag as a director? I mean, obviously he's here. You're not going to say anything not nice, but I mean, how was it?
That's the best time to say not nice things about him in front of him.
So he's, what I call his set is like an organized chaos, because everyone just has to be on their toes and everybody knows it, because he's just going to change the whole thing right there in front of you. And you just have to be prepared. It's almost like going to an acting workshop every day, because you can't rehearse your lines, you can't prepare, because he's going to change the whole thing. And you don't know what film you're making, only he knows what film you're making. So yeah, it's an organized chaos, but the beautiful part is that everyone is okay with it. And everyone is just in that, except him, everybody's on the same page, because everything's going to change. So it's a completely different way of working, which is actually fantastic, because
Which can be addictive.
And Taapsee, you've worked in other film industries in India, Telugu, Tamil. I mean, how do they compare, perhaps? At the moment, we're hearing so much about the South Indian film industries, which previously they were always seen as being like regional. And, you know, nobody's going to call people like Rajamouli a regional cinema maker. How is it working in these different cinemas?
So I relatively work less now in southern languages since the time I started working in Hindi, because Hindi being my most comfortable language, I now do 1 or 2 films in a year in South. But I do it still consistently because I don't want to uproot myself from where I started. But you know, these kind of films were made back then. Maybe the budgets were like what Bahubali or RRR, the budgets were bigger than Rajamouli sir's previous films. But those films that he made previously, which were considered regional films at that time, were equally good. And the same kind of stuff was happening 10 years back when I started. It's just now the Hindi audience is waking up to it because of this crossover, and a lot of credit goes to the OTT world. People have started seeing it. All the satellite telecast of these films, that people are aware of the South stars as well. So they are watching it now. It has changed a lot for actors, because 8 years back when I started off in Hindi, I used to be referred to as a South Indian actress. Okay, and people used to tell me to wash off that image if I really want to make it big in Hindi. I had to start from scratch, even though I hail from Delhi. But because I had done significant work in South, I was referred to as South Indian actress. So they were like, if you want to become big in Hindi, then you need to let people like forget that you are South Indian actress. You have to make yourself more Hindi actress. So I didn't understand why, because I had done some work with some really credible names there, which I was really proud of. And I worked my way up, and I had to again start from scratch. Unlike now, where all these big stars, thanks to OTT, satellite, and now theatrical release, are big stars even for Hindi audience, right from their first film itself. So they don't have to work from down to up like what I had to 10 years back. So it's, I don't know, because of OTT on satellite, things have changed, but the films are still as good or bad as they were back then. So I don't see any difference in the quality of films that they are making. It's not like suddenly they are making something different. They were making these kind of films before also. If you see Magadira, I don't know if people have seen, right? Yeah, so he's made some fabulous films before as well. That man can even make Makhi a hero.
Either.
Yeah. So you can't really like RRR is like, yeah, obviously he can make this.
I want to come back and talk a bit more about OTT in a minute, but just while you were talking about how the struggles you had, female actors, how is that today? Is this something that's changing too in Hindi cinema?
Yeah, it's better than what it was 10 years back. Yeah, but long way to go. Yeah, my entire film's budget is equivalent to a male actor's salary. That's all I can tell you. Rest you can imagine.
We probably shouldn't ask more about those questions at the moment as well. But I think this is really, I think, the crux of this movie. I don't know if many people came tonight and were surprised to see this kind of movie, that it was something different, not what you were expecting. And as many of you will already know, of course, many of the big budget movies are sinking at the box office now. They're really, even a big star is no guarantee of a success. And one of the questions is, are there many big stars under 50? Would even be a question. And, do you think that the audience is moving more towards this story-driven cinema? Or do you think it's just a small part of the audience still?
I think audience wants more. Audience really wants more. They're not easily satisfied with anything thrown towards them. It's like another producer of mine says that you can't, even if you like too art house or too dumbed down, mediocre, mainstream, it's not going to work. You have to engage the audience, whatever you do. If the audience wants to be engaged, they demand to be engaged. And they really demand to be engaged. And they want, because now with the OTT, they're watching very good movies and series in all languages available to them. And they're comparing it with it. So in the sense, if you go to small town India, they might not know the name of the actor of the KGF, the movie. But the small town India, rural India know Rocky Bhai is their favorite actor. They won't say Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan. They won't know the name. They don't know the name of the actor, Yash. But they know his character, and Rocky Bhai is their favorite actor. So I'm saying, if whatever reaches out to them, and they want to be engaged, and they will go and pay for that. And now it's very difficult because they see a trailer and decide whether they want to see the movie, go to cinemas and see the film, or they're going to wait for it to come on any platform that they can watch without paying for it. So times are changing, and we all still figuring it out. We are still figuring it out, but it's time to, in a way, it's a good time to do new things and do it well. We have to do it really well.
I mean, would you have been interested in acting in a mainstream type movie? More of a masala type or a...
Yeah, that was my dream all along. I mean, I come from Delhi. I've grown up watching that cinema. And I was in class 4th when my teacher asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to become a hero. Hero banna hai mujhe. So I think every actor wants to do that. But obviously, over time, things have changed. I've evolved. I've changed as a person. And I like the cinema that I'm doing. And of course, I want to try out everything. And I want to do everything. But that's not my first love anymore. It's not my first love.
Which is?
The masala movies, that's not my first
Right.
love anymore. But of course, I would want to do it.
And I suppose, many of you will know that Anurag co-directed, which is also quite an interesting concept, the first Netflix original in India, Sacred Games, again, from a novel, from an excellent novel there. Do you think that these are going to be, that OTT is enabling your kind of cinema, or do you think it's hindering it, or do you think it's more
I think it's both right now. I like the long form storytelling, and I've been working on lots of stuff, but it's also at the same time also dealing with a kind of an atmosphere where one is very restricted in the kind of drama that you can do. right now at the moment we can't do anything that's remotely political or remotely it deals with religion. There are lots of big no's.
Yeah.
And big no's are not because anybody has said you can't do that. It's because everybody is living in a atmosphere where they don't know how anybody is going to react. So right now we are very fragile at the moment. And we are very easily offended at anything. So it's like for us creators in India, it's a great time to create long form storytelling and do lots of new experimental stuff. At the same time, we are walking a very thin line.
Okay, I'm going to indulge myself in one very last question here, which is I always think, and one of my former students was saying this, Rakesh, to me, that your films are often very ambivalent. That people are neither good nor bad, which is very unlike a masala movie where, you know, you're either really good or really bad. I mean, there are a few, of course, characters who cross over. And, you know, while people's ways of thinking might be becoming more rigid and more contained, do you think this really helps? And I wondered about the actors, actually, how you felt about that. I mean, that Vikas in the film, you know, I mean, he's really a bit of a twit, isn't he? You know, but how did you feel about the kind of roles that you were playing? You're neither, you know, you're not saints or villains. You're not just heroes and heroines. How did you find that?
Actually, not so much in this film, because here I'm very white in this film. Unlike the stuff that I do mostly, especially in my last film that I did with him in Man Marziyan, I think nobody could have presented a love story where all the possible characters are grey so beautifully the way he's done it. So I don't think there is a more real today's love story that has been made other than Man Marziyan, because they're all so grey and so real, and that is what connected everybody. Originally the script was not like that. It was not that grey. All the characters weren't grey. He made all of them grey, which was, I think, the biggest USP of that film. So I guess whenever I have this grey zone characters, I think that's why that first call happens to him. This took me by surprise myself. How did he say yes to it and not make me grey here? How am I so nice in this film? I don't know. Yeah, but I think by default, I have started gravitating towards more grey stuff. I think it happened in Badla as well when I did the same writer, Oriol's film. I was offered some other part in that film, and I chose to be grey or dark. Actually, that was very black, not even grey. Because that's like an actor's candy. I get to explore and keep audience more engaged and involved through my character. I don't want them to predict what I will do next. That's the beauty of grey characters. And that's why I get attracted towards them more.
And you as well?
I kind of agree with Taapsee on the most of it, because I genuinely love playing grey characters. There's a lot more you can explore doing a grey character, and the scenes are just more... I mean, you can find so much more in a scene when you have that arc with you. My last film also, I had a grey character I played. I was Taapsee's husband in Thappad. Yeah. And but the good thing I got to slap her. Yeah.
I think that's a great point at which we have to sadly end today's discussion. But 10 years, see you all here again, and hope to see you guys back again
Thank
soon.
you.